Welcome to yet another lesson where we'll be looking at digestibility coefficient, where we'll be calculating digestibility coefficient, which is the percentage of the amount of feed that was digested and excreted by our farm animals. So firstly, let's have a look at the formula. We have DC, which stands for digestibility coefficient, equals to dry mass intake minus dry mass manure over dry mass intake multiplied by 100, because our answer should be in percentage. So if you carefully look, you'll see that we have D's everywhere, which stand for dry. D is dry, this is dry, this is dry. This is because we're going to subtract any kind of moisture that is found in our feed, because we do not consider water as a nutrient. In fact, it is for a fact that water is not a nutrient, it's just a chemical that helps in dissolving and other metabolic or bodily functionalities. So we do not consider it as a nutrient. That's why we do not include water or moisture in the calculation of our digestibility coefficient, or as far as the consideration of how much of feed was digested and how much of it was excreted. So let's have a full look at this with in our question. So they're saying during a digestibility trial, an animal ingested 15 kg of feed. Now the 15 kg of feed will be the feed that is ingested by our farm animal. Now they're saying the feed has a moisture content of 10%. That means in this 15 kg of feed, there is 10% moisture. So not the whole mass of this feed. It means that some part of it contain water, and in percentage, that is 10% of water. So we'll be looking at that. So it contains 10% moisture, and then it later excreted 3.5 kg of dry manure. Now our dry manure, our manure is dry, so there's no moisture. In other words, this value on its own will be able to fit into the formula because it's dry and there's no moisture. Remember, I said in this formula we do not put anything that has moisture. We have to subtract the moisture first and then put it in the formula. So that means we have to calculate our DMI, because this DMI we'll have to calculate it because we do not have it at this moment. Our feed that was taken in has moisture. We have to subtract this moisture, which is 10% of this 15 kg. Therefore, we'll put it in the formula once we have it dry without the moisture. So we have DMI. Sorry about that. So we have DMI. So we're going to calculate our DMI, which is 15 kg multiplied by 10%, 10 over 100, which is going to be 1,5 kilograms. That means in this 15 kg, sorry, let's this 15 kg. So in this 15 kg, we have 1,5 kg of water. So let's subtract this 1,5 of water. So we're going to have 15 kg minus 1,5 of water or moisture is equals to 13,5 kg. Now we have our DMI. This is now dry because we have subtracted water. Our feed in our dry mass, our mass intake is now dry because we have subtracted water from it. So now we have 13,5 kg. So now we can put everything in the formula, which is 13, sorry about that, which is 13,5 kilograms minus minus 3,5 of our dry mass manure, 3,5 kg over 13,5 kg, all multiplied by 100. Remember, our answer must be in percentages. So we found that the answer is 74%. This means that 74% of the feed was excreted, which we'll later look at in our second question. Now, give the implication of the digestibility of the feed calculated in question 2.3.1. Now, firstly, we'll have to look at the word implication. What does the word implication mean? I like giving an example. I say, I put it this way, like, let's say you're outside during the day, you see the clouds getting darker, you hear thunder rumbling, then what is the implication of that? Even the atmosphere is getting a little bit darker. The scenery, the whole scenery is a little bit darker. There's thunder, there's wind, and the clouds are dark. The implication of that, it most likely rain. It's going to rain sooner. So the word implication simply means what does it mean if something is like this? What does this mean if it turned out like this? So that is the word, that's the meaning of the word implication. Now, what is the implication of this digestibility coefficient that we got? This 74%. So our question is 2.3.2. This was 2.3.1. Now, the implication of 74% is that 74% of the feed was digested. Or you could just minus or subtract this 74% from 100 and say, and we're going to get what, 26%. Or you can say 26% of the feed was excreted. Very good. So 74% of the feed was digested, and therefore we know that 100% minus 74 is 26%. So that means 26% of the feed was excreted. Either one of these answers is correct because the question only is worth 1 mark, so you could have just chosen one of these two. So on our last question, 2.3.3, the question says that name two factors that may have contributed to the digestibility of the feed used in the trial. Now, there are so many factors that contribute to the digestibility of feed. For example, let's say you're having potato chips or French fries, as you call them. Uh, I believe that they're more palatable if you add vinegar and salt. But if you just eat them as they are and you just fry them and then you eat them without salt and vinegar and any nothing, and I don't believe that they'll be more palatable. They'll be more palatable if you add vinegar uh, and then some sort of like a salt or any kind of seasoning. So let's look at some of the factors that affect digestibility in farm animals. We have palatability. That is exactly what I was just talking about now. How palatable? How tasty? Is it tasty? Is it quiet, as I might say it? So palatability. This is basically the taste. Palatability. Palatability of the feed. It may also depend on the type of animal. It may also depend on the composition of the ration. Composition of the ration would just mean that what was the feed made up of. You may find that it was made of corn and other mixture. Just for example, for let's say for chicken feed, we have like we have maize. We may have maize and we may have sunflower seeds all mixed up together. That is also a ration. So it also depends on the ration. What is the mixture in that feed? What is it made up of? Thank you.